after the Knight and the Skull Merchant, people were really worried about how the Singularity would be in DBD. A lot of people were worried this killer was just going to be used for 3-genning, not much else, and they're going to be very boring to play against, very boring to play as. Actually, like, it seems like this killer is pretty fun and pretty fun to play against as well. Now, that could change in the future. That could change as the game develops, as strategy develops. No telling what the future may hold. But currently, this killer is very fun. If you don't know how this killer works, basically this killer throws up cameras. The cameras can see the survivors that are running around. Cameras can throw little infection balls on the survivors. If a survivor is infected, then the killer can teleport to the survivor either through a camera or through line of sight. And the survivors can counter this by finding EMPs around the match that automatically get created, and they can hurry along the process if they so choose. They automatically get created, and they pull them out of chests, and they can EMP in order to either get rid of their infection permanently or to disable the cameras for a short duration. It doesn't really feel short sometimes. And the cameras can still be used by the killer to see wherever the survivors are, but they can't shoot the infection out of the cameras if they've been EMP'd. Now the killer can destroy the cameras and re-put them back up so they won't be EMP'd, but of course that requires the killer to come over there and reinstall the cameras and get rid of the old ones. But gameplay loop of facing and playing as this killer is really fun and really intense, and something that we didn't see in the past couple killers. The past couple killers were kind of boring. They felt very cheap and chase a lot of time. This killer feels very dynamic. Feels like there's a lot of strategy, a lot of depth to them. Really, the only thing that I've seen that is a pain is the EMPs are a little bit too good. So the EMPs, they can take out a lot of area. So if you put a bunch of cameras around a gen, or if you have survivors that multiple of them have an infection, one EMP can knock out a bunch of cameras, can knock out the entire team's infection, and they still have a bunch of other EMPs that are just scattered around the map. Now, I'm not sure how many EMPs there are exactly, EMP chests at least, but it seems around like 6. It seems like the same amount as like Wesker chest, which Wesker has 6. So I believe this killer also has 6. I could be wrong. It could be 1 more, 1 less, so on and so forth. But it seems like the EMPs are a little bit too good because they're just so efficient at countering this killer's power. And so there are a couple ways that they could tweak that in order to make this killer pretty much perfect. Because I do think that the EMPs do need to stay in somewhat of the place that they're in. I think their availability is very good, actually, because the back and forth that it provides is very fun for both sides. Really, I think there could be some number tweaks making it to where the sphere of the EMP doesn't actually impact as much. They could also make it to where it kind of like quells the infection but doesn't fully get rid of it. That could be something that happens. They can make it to where the EMP, you have to make a choice whether you want to EMP yourself or EMP the environment. That way you have to decide, okay, do I EMP myself to get rid of this infection, or do I EMP the environment to disable the cameras? Stuff like that I think should be a little bit more interesting, a little bit more dynamic. But currently, as it is, if the survivors just constantly farm the EMPs and are constantly blasting, you can keep up for a while with the Singularity, but eventually they will just win the war of attrition if they're playing well, and will be able to get out of the match, and there's not as much that you can do about it. But that being said, this killer is very fun, can be very effective in chase, can be very effective with map mobility and just macro game awareness. And so I think Behavior actually did a really good job, and if they do a few tweaks to the EMPs, I think this killer actually could be one of the best killers in DBD. I think this could be like a low A tier killer, high B tier, and could be a killer that you see a lot of people will get to like P100 and are very cracked out and getting 4Ks every match. I could definitely see a reality to where that is happening with the Singularity. Now, that being said, I would love to hear what you guys think in the comments down below. If you think the killer is good, the killer is bad, if you have already thought of some tweaks that you would do to the killer's power, love to hear what you guys are thinking. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, everyone.